The Hamas-run health ministry says 6 infants have died from the cold in Gaza as they face the second winter of war there. Food, shelter, and heating capacity are all in short supply. According to the UN, almost 1 million people will have to endure the winter without adequate protection from the elements.
Winter winds and rainwater are battering Gaza's sprawling tent camps. The tents serve as temporary shelter, but a continuous mass displacement crisis spanning over a year has rendered the majority of them no longer fit for use.
Due to the rain yesterday, water gathered over the worn-out tents and broke them, broke the wood, and the water went down on those who were sleeping. And we got up at 3 a.m. to try and gather what was left of the tent.
Like Abu Ahmed, 9 out of 10 Palestinians in Gaza are currently displaced, according to UN estimates. Displaced parents say they don't know how to protect their children from the cold. We're afraid of the sound of rain, afraid of the sound of the wind. The tent shakes. We feel like we're taking a shower under the rain. Please have mercy on us. Doctors in the strip say at least 7 people have died of exposure and cold, including 6 infants and a nurse. Yahya al-Batran was the father of twin boys less than a month old. He woke up to devastating news.
My wife checked his feet and found them like ice cubes. Then I checked the other child and found him cold. I ran to the hospital with the child, but as soon as I arrived, they told me he had died.
The twin brothers died. Ali passed a day after Jum'ah.
I fled with my children to protect them from the bombing so that they would die here from hunger and cold.
The UN has warned that new tents and supplies are urgently needed to help Palestinians forced out of their homes survive the winter.
And for more on this, we're joined by Howleen Feldvik. She's the country director for CARE Palestine and joins us now from the Jordanian capital, Amman. Thanks for talking to us about this. Can you tell us more about the conditions in which the displaced families are living in Gaza right now and what the Gazan winter looks like?
The Gaza winter is incredibly cold. I think, we see Gaza and we see it's by the beach and we think maybe it's, it used to be warm, but the winters in Gaza have always been cold. And especially now when indeed 9 out of 10 people in Gaza live in tents that are not set up for the winter. They're not warm enough. And especially with the enormous amounts of rain the Gazans have experienced yesterday and today. Many of these tents have flooded. My teams are also reporting children sleeping in the mud because they basically lost their tents. You can see it also here on the beach as well. It's terrible. And also the shelter supplies, the tent supplies, they're not available in the market. There's not enough clothes in the market. So therefore also people are cold, not enough blankets. The situation is just terrible. And of course, this is the second winter since the escalation of the hostilities.
And obviously, this is not a natural disaster. This is war. And Israel continues to wage war in Gaza against Hamas. Hamas is fighting back. So nothing short of a ceasefire is really going to put an end to the suffering there. But before that comes, what do Gazans need to get through this winter?
What Gazans need to get through this winter is adequate food supplies to be available in the market, shelter supplies, winter clothes for their children, of course, healthcare as well. With so much destruction of the health facilities, the health infrastructure, there isn't even remotely adequate health support available either, which also means we see a high increase of diseases. Of course, there's the common colds and flus, but the common cold and flu, as we know them, also in cold Germany or cold Europe, they really turn very quickly to pneumonia and hypothermia here, as we also saw the story of the 2 babies that died in the cold.
And can you tell me about Israel's role in this and its role in getting aid to the people who need it in Gaza?
Israel controls all the crossing points where the aid enters into Gaza, so they control the borders. But of course, all stakeholders through the conflict, should really work towards a ceasefire, so we can get aid into Gaza, we can get food into Gaza, and we can get medical supplies much needed into Gaza. And of course, for us as humanitarian organizations, the ceasefire, it needs to come as quickly as possible so we can really help providing sort of the supplies that are much needed to overcome this second winter since the war.
Several of Israel's allies, UK, France, and Germany, earlier this month urged Israel to implement the UN's winter plan in Gaza. That seems to have been ignored at this point by Israel. What do you think Israel's Western allies could do to help ease the humanitarian crisis there now?
I think this is a very tough question to answer. I think the member states know what they, could be doing as well, and I think the priority should really be the people, and how we can really provide the supplies. And I think what needs to be in place in order for these supplies to enter into Gaza safely.
Okay, thank you, Haleen Feldvik from Care Palestine in Amman.
Thank you.